I hope the mic doesn't get funky again. Hi, we're Group 3, and in this video, we'll be narrating each of our narrative writings about the movie Avengers Endgame. These can vary from linear narratives, non-linear narratives, quest narratives, and viewpoint narratives. Without further ado, let's begin.
Half the population of Earth has been wiped by a snap of a finger by the villain going by Thanos, who is believed to have escaped the grasp of the Avengers, who also lost some of their members, says the news reporter from the TV, who clearly has been crying because it is seen as swollen eyes. We don't know where Thanos is, but we do hope that the Avengers will be able to find him and bring back the people they have lost. The news reporter took a short pause and ended by saying, "May God bless America." The woman has been watching. It's just the same as the news reporter. Face clearly tired, teary eyes swollen from all the crying she has done for the day. She looked at the coffee table where her photo album is and saw on the photos her eyes. Wanted to cry but can't anymore. She wanted to look away but she couldn't, since it felt like if she looks away, she would forget what they look like. "Oh God," she thought. "Why did you do this to me?" she continued. And sadness came over her again and she began sobbing. The photo is her family photo. There, on her right, is the love of her life, carrying their only daughter, their youngest. Then on her left are her three mischievous boys, her eldest, and her two twins. It just seemed like yesterday, all of them in the park having their weekly family time. Both parents will just be under the shade of a large oak tree and will either be reading a book or watching the kids, while the children will either be playing with others or will be playing with one another. Just having this thought made her face have a sad smile. Even though it is something beautiful to think about, it is also something that reminds her of her loss. The loss of her husband and all of her children just because of some villain with their ridiculous beliefs. The memory of her husband turned to dust with confusion and fear in his face was still clear as day on her mind. Even the facial expressions of her usually mischievous sons was the same as their father's. Confusion and fear, not the usual grins they have on their face, where her sleeping youngest having nothing but a peaceful face while she drinks the dust. It just seemed all too saddening. Recalling such a memory again made her broke down for the 7th time, maybe 8th or more of the day. Then she started asking herself again, why, as she drowned herself into her sadness and tears on her couch.
After half of the lives in the universe were killed by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, the remaining Avengers together with their allies decided to finish what needs to be done to bring back peace on Earth. With the help of Captain Marvel, the Avengers tried to search Thanos to take back the 6 Infinity Stones, only to find out that Thanos already destroyed it in order to stay away from temptations. Years after, Ant-Man found his way back to Earth from Quantum Realm. He became the hope of Avengers team to continue the battle. They tried to use the Quantum Realm in retrieving the 6 Infinity Stones, which is the only way for them to relive again with their loved ones. But unfortunate things happened through the end of their journey. Tony Stark, also known as Iron Man, sacrifices himself to process to wipe out Thanos once and for all.
Will be world different ball game in each Friday Infinity War. While last year Avengers blockbuster followed Thanos as she often Infinity Stone, eaching ending will be talking another point of view. Interview us how next movie will different from other Marvel outing. Co-director Joe Russo told Box Office for that tricky one to answer without giving anything away, but I will say that movie is different, unique in stone.
In Avengers Infinity War, half of the universe was killed by Thanos. The Avengers and their allies must assemble once more and learn to put differences aside in order to work together and set things right. Along the way, the Avengers realized that sacrifices must be made as they prepare for the ultimate showdown with Thanos, which will result in the heroes fighting in the biggest battle they have ever faced. In order to undo Thanos' action, the Avengers plan to use the Infinity Stone. Unfortunately, after locating Thanos, they discovered that Thanos had already destroyed the Infinity Stone.
It's a normal day. I'm in class. Our teacher is in front of us narrating a short story. A few weeks ago, we heard that there were unworldly beings that landed in New York. I didn't hear much more detail about it afterwards, other than the obvious fact that they were aliens. I was told to be alert. After our teacher finishes narrating the story, she begins to ask questions about it. Me, being the diligent student that I am, I raise my hand to every question, but only gets called twice. Right after my classmate finishes his answer, we hear a terrified scream on the floor above. We all looked at the direction it was coming from, and I remembered those aliens. It must be them, I thought. Our teacher left the room to check up on the students above. We were instructed to behave in the meantime. We did, but I stood up and sat beside my best friend to have a little chat. What was that? Jojo, my best friend, asks. I don't know, but that scream didn't sound great, I said. Before he even replies, I see his hand turn to dust. Wait, dust? I wasn't able to say anything and ended up gesturing for him to look at his hand. As soon as he saw it, his face filled with panic and shock. He's fading away. Literally. When it got up to his arm, I felt the tip of my fingers tingle. I looked, and I was also turning to dust. I start to cry, thinking about how I'm still too young to die. But at the same time, I was happy, because all my problems would be gone if I die. I smile and cry like a madman until my vision turns black and I fully turn to dust. The end.
23 days after Thanos killed half of all life in the universe, Carol Danvers rescues Tony Stark and Nebula from deep space and they reunite with the remaining Avengers on Earth. Locating Thanos on an uninhabited planet, they plan to use the Infinity Stone to reverse his action, but discover Thanos has already destroyed them to prevent further use. 5 years later, in 2023, Scott Lang escaped the quantum realm. Reaching the Avengers compound, he explained that he experienced only 5 hours while trapped. Theorizing the quantum realm allows time travel. They ask Stark to help them retrieve the stone from the past to reverse the action of Thanos in the present. Stark, Rocket, and Banner, who has since merged his intelligence with Hulk's strength, build a time machine. Banner notes that altering the past does not affect the present. Any changes create alternate realities.
Avengers Endgame is a really great movie. It tells the story about many heroes and how they work together to defeat one enemy. We hope you enjoyed watching our video and we'll see you next time. If we ever have another group activity, of course.